Welcome to Alberta, strong and free. Home of big clear skies with lush forests that cascade through the foothills of rising Rocky Mountains. Nature and wilderness as far as the eye can see, peppered by glacial lakes and crystal clear water. Culturally rich, vibrant modern cities with big town amenities and a small town feel. The city of Calgary sits nestled.
Calgary City Council has declared a climate emergency.
People from around the world come to Alberta and come to Calgary because it is beautiful and it is clean. We are not facing a climate emergency, plain and simple. If you agree, go to noclimateemergency.com now, sign our petition, and click a link to send Jyoti Gondek a message. Adam Sos here for Rebel News, and Calgary, as you've heard, is in apparently a state of climate emergency, whatever that may mean. City councillors voted 13-2 in favor of declaring a state of emergency in this city. During debates, there was some minor contention over the use of the word emergency and what that means, but City Council wasn't about to let facts and definitions get in the way of jumping on board this climate hysteria. Listen, we have been going through cycles of emergency because of COVID-19 for the past 2 years. Now they've added yet another element of crises and emergencies for us to be panicked over and to live in fear of.
Your new city council will make a commitment to climate action because we can and we must.
Sadly, it isn't as though Jyoti Gondek is doing this to Calgarians. She campaigned on a platform of one day declaring a climate emergency in the city. Sadly, we are doing this to ourselves, or at least our fellow voters are doing it to us. It's come to the point where they have adopted the climate hysteria so integrally that they are actually comforted by authorities declaring a state of emergency.
But the word emergency caused concern for a number of councillors, including Sonia Sharp, who said the word is too charged, but the word was not changed.
In our first noclimateemergency.com video, we talked about how the media and Hollywood are complicit in exasperating fears surrounding climate change. We also talked about how these policies do very little to help the environment, but do a lot to help politicians in patting themselves on the back, and a lot to help them encourage further increased taxes, all in the name of the environment. We have also seen the economic and mental health impacts caused by these types of policies and the perpetual state of fear that people are living in.
Well, Ian, I spoke with the Calgary Construction Association, and they say that they want to be a part of Calgary's climate-conscious future, as construction and buildings are responsible for 60% of the city's carbon footprint. And he also says that Calgary has the potential to be a climate leader in sustainable construction. It says there needs to be a two-pronged approach to build in a way that doesn't contribute to climate change. One, renovate and improve existing and aging buildings to make them more efficient. The other is to make sure that any new construction uses sustainable materials and energy-efficient design.
Despite all of these factors, Jyoti and company are so eager to spearhead their new great leap forward that despite a lack of sufficient technology and resources, they want us transitioning off of fossil fuels. The reality is that we are not ready to do that yet, and the world is going to continue to need oil. Importing oil from overseas OPEC oil is not good for the environment, and it's certainly not good for our economy. So until we are ready to embrace these technologies, and until these technologies are in fact viable and can compete on the open market, they in reality simply will not work.
From the initial 5 founder members, today OPEC has grown to include 13 sovereign nations on 3 continents. Together, these countries hold 80% of the world's proven oil reserves and provide around 40% of global crude oil production.
You know, in China, Mao Zedong also worked towards a great leap forward. I think we all know how that went, though maybe some of these people don't. When we don't learn from history, it is doomed to repeat itself. Under Mao Zedong, with their great leap forward, they attempted over the course of 5 years to rapidly industrialize a country that had inadequate technology and whose ways of life were not yet compatible with industrialization. The consequence of that policy was that millions of people died. Listen, I am hopeful that our politicians aren't quite so dramatic as Mao Zedong. I'm hoping they don't shut off the oil and count on sunless solar panels and frozen over wind turbines to get us through the winter. But if history has taught us anything, hoping on politicians is not good policy.
We must work together to ensure it is no longer free to pollute anywhere in the world.
Simply put, we cannot transition to technology that does not yet exist, or at least doesn't exist on a level that can keep us going through Canadian winters. Furthermore, unethical oil does nothing to help the environment and nothing to help Canadians. We need politicians who are actually willing to stand up to this climate hysteria, not simply those who go along to make new friends by agreeing to carbon taxes and Paris Accords. We need people who will stand up in principle. And I'm going to take it a step further. We need politicians who, instead of signing up for these meaningless symbolic gestures, get this, do something to actually help the environment. I want to thank you all for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Sose. Go to noclimateemergency.com. There you will be able to click a button and send an email directly to Jyoti Gondek. You'll also be able to sign our petition saying that there is no climate emergency in Calgary.